In the shadowed lands of the north, where the sea meets the rugged cliffs and the winds carry the tales of old, Eiríkur, a fierce Viking warrior, stands resolute against the winds of fate. His broad shoulders, cloaked in the fur of the mightiest wolves, bear the weight of impending battle. His eyes, as blue as the deepest fjords, blaze with a fire that rivals the northern lights. His beloved wife, Astrid, the light of his life and the flame of his heart, has been taken by a rival clan. Her absence leaves a void in Eiríkur's soul, a chasm filled with a seething rage and an unwavering resolve. The news of her capture came like a thunderclap in the night, shattering the peace of their humble homestead and igniting a storm within Eiríkur's heart. As he stands on the precipice of war, Eiríkur's thoughts drift to Astrid. Her laughter, a melody that outshone the songs of mead halls. Her touch, gentle as the summer breeze, yet firm as the oak. Her spirit, as indomitable as the mountains that cradle their homeland. The memory of her smile, now a distant echo, fuels his determination. Gathering his trusted warriors, Eiríkur addresses them with a voice that rolls like thunder across the assembly. "Brothers," he begins, his words slicing through the tense air. "Fate has dealt us a cruel hand. The blood of our kin calls for justice. The honor of our clan demands retribution. Tonight we ride not just for glory, but for love, for the heart of our brother Eiríkur, for Astrid, whose spirit burns as bright as the fires of our hearths." The men, clad in armor forged by the hands of their forefathers, their shields painted with symbols of their heritage, respond with a resounding roar. They understand the gravity of their quest. It is more than a rescue. It is a testament to their bonds, their honor, and their unyielding will. Eiríkur leads them to the temple, where the flickering candlelight casts dancing shadows upon the ancient walls. Here, in the presence of the gods, they swear an oath. Eiríkur's voice echoes in the hallowed hall. "Before the eyes of the gods, I vow to return Astrid to her rightful place by my side, or join her in the halls of the afterlife. This I swear on my honor, my blade, and my blood." The warriors, their faces etched with resolve, join in the oath, their voices uniting in a powerful chorus that seems to shake the very foundations of the earth. They beseech the gods for strength, for courage, and for victory in the face of overwhelming odds. As they prepare to depart, Eiríkur stands alone for a moment, gazing into the starlit sky. The stars, like distant beacons, remind him of Astrid's unwavering spirit. He whispers a silent prayer, not for victory, but for the strength to face what lies ahead, to be the shield against the storm, to be the warrior worthy of Astrid's love. With a final glance at the heavens, Eiríkur turns and strides towards his destiny. His men at his back, their ships waiting to cut through the waves like blades through the battlefield. The journey ahead is fraught with peril, but in Eiríkur's heart, there is no room for fear, only the unyielding desire to reunite with his beloved Astrid and restore the balance of their shattered world. Thus begins the tale of Eiríkur, a saga of love and war, a story whispered by the winds, carried by the seas, and etched in the annals of history. A story of a warrior who stood against the tides of fate, driven by a love as enduring as the mountains, as deep as the oceans, and as eternal as the stars that watch over the shadowed lands of the north. The day dawned with a sky painted in hues of crimson and gold, a spectacle that seemed to foreshadow the fiery clash to come. As Eiríkur and his band of warriors approached the enemy territory, the air was thick with anticipation, the scent of pine and sea salt mingling with the more ominous odors of iron and blood. The rival clan, known for their ruthlessness, awaited on the open field, their numbers like a dark wave poised to crash upon the shore. Eiríkur, astride his formidable steed, raised his axe high, its blade glinting in the morning light. His eyes, alight with a fierce determination, scanned the ranks of his adversaries, searching for any sign of Astrid. With a thunderous roar that seemed to shake the very earth, the two sides charged, colliding with a force that echoed through the valley. The clash of steel rang out, a harsh symphony of war, as shield met axe, sword met spear. Eiríkur plunged into the heart of the melee, his axe a whirlwind of death and destruction. Around him, the battlefield was a maelstrom of chaos and violence. Men grunted and screamed, the air punctuated by the sound of metal cleaving flesh. Erikr fought not just as a warrior, but as a man possessed, driven by a single purpose, to find Astrid and bring her back from the clutches of his foes. As he fought, Erikr's mind was a tumult of emotion. Each swing of his axe was fueled by memories of Astrid, her gentle touch, her laughter, the way her eyes sparkled in the light of their hearth. These memories, so vivid amidst the carnage, lent him a superhuman strength, but also left him exposed to the cruel whims of fate. The battle raged on, the sun climbing higher in the sky, its light casting long, dark shadows across the battlefield. Erikr's arms grew heavy, his breath coming in ragged gasps, but still he fought on, cutting a path through his enemies with grim determination. Then, in a fleeting moment of stillness, amid the tumult, Erikr's gaze met that of a towering enemy warrior, his face obscured by a fearsome helmet. In that instant, time seemed to slow. Erikr charged, his cry a mix of rage and despair, but the enemy was swift. With a deft move, he sidestepped Erikr's attack and struck a devastating blow. The impact sent Erikr reeling, his axe slipping from his grasp. He stumbled, the world spinning around him, a cacophony of noise fading to a distant echo. As he fell, the image of Astrid flashed before his eyes, her smile, her warmth, her love. It was this image that filled his vision as darkness closed in, a beacon of light in the encroaching shadows of oblivion. Erikr hit the ground with a thud that seemed to silence the battlefield, his body broken but his spirit still clinging to the fading image of his beloved. As his consciousness slipped away, the sounds of the battle dimmed, replaced by a serene quiet that promised an escape from the pain and loss. Yet, even in these final moments, Erikr's heart ached with an unfulfilled promise, a vow to reunite with Astrid that he could no longer keep. The battle continued to rage around him, but for Erikr, the fight was over. He lay there, a fallen warrior, whose tale was not yet complete, his journey taking him to realms beyond the understanding of mortal men. In his last breath, a single word escaped his lips, a whisper carried away by the wind. Astrid. Erikr's eyes flutter open, not to the stark coldness of death, but to a realm of unimaginable splendor. Valhalla, the hallowed hall of the fallen, unfolds before him in a tapestry of grandeur and glory. Golden light filters through the vast hall, casting a warm glow on long tables laden with feasts fit for kings. The air is alive with the sound of laughter and song, a chorus of joy that resonates through the ancient timbers. Around him, warriors of ages past mingle with the newly arrived, their tales of valor and bravery echoing off the walls. These are the heroes of lore, the valiant souls who fought and fell with honor. Erikr, still grappling with the surreal transition from life to afterlife, feels a peculiar sense of belonging among these legendary figures. Yet amidst this grandeur, a pang of sorrow tugs at his heart. His thoughts drift to Astrid, to their life together, to the promises left unfulfilled. The joy of Valhalla seems a hollow comfort compared to the warmth of her embrace, the tenderness of her voice. As he moves through the hall, his presence draws the attention of his ancestors, their gazes marked by curiosity and respect. They gather around him, their eyes reflecting the fires of battles long past. Erikr, with a voice tinged with both pride and pain, recounts his story, his love for Astrid, their life torn asunder, the battle that brought him here. His tale, raw and poignant, resonates with the assembly. These warriors, who had lived and died by the sword, understand the depth of Erikr's devotion. Moved by his love and sacrifice, they share in his anguish, their faces etched with empathy and reverence. Among the gathered is an elder, his hair as white as the snows of the north, his eyes like pools of ancient wisdom. He steps forward, his voice resonant with the power of ages. Erikr, son of the north, your journey is not yet at its end. The bonds of true love transcend even the realms of gods and men. There is a path, perilous and hidden, that leads back to the mortal world. A murmur ripples through the crowd, a mix of awe and disbelief. Such a journey, the elder explains, is fraught with trials that will test not only Eriker's strength, but the very essence of his spirit. It is a path seldom tread, for few possess the resolve to face its challenges. Eriker, his heart aflame with renewed purpose, listens intently as the elder speaks of ancient rites and hidden passages, of a door that bridges the world of the living and the realm of the dead. The risks are immense. The journey back to life is a gambit against the very laws of nature and the will of the gods. But within Eriker, the decision has already been made. His love for Astrid, a beacon in the darkness, guides him with unwavering certainty. He turns to face his ancestors, their faces a mosaic of history and valor. "I will walk this path," he declares, his voice resolute. "For Astrid, for our love, I will face whatever trials lie ahead. I will return to her side." The hall falls silent, the weight of his words hanging in the air. Then, one by one, the warriors of Valhalla rise to their feet, their voices joining in a chorus of approval and encouragement. They, who had known the glory of battle and the honor of a warrior's death, now bear witness to a different kind of courage, the courage of a heart undeterred by the boundaries of life and death. As Eriker prepares to embark on his unprecedented journey, the hall of Valhalla resonates with the sounds of ancient songs and the clashing of cups. It is a farewell befitting a hero, a send-off for one who dares to defy destiny for the sake of love. And as he steps towards the threshold of the unknown, Eriker carries with him not only the hopes of his ancestors, but the undying flame of a love that knows no bounds. In the heart of Valhalla, beneath the watchful eyes of the gods and the spirits of his ancestors, Eriker prepares for the trials that lay before him. The air is thick with anticipation, a palpable energy that resonates within the ancient walls of the hall. The path back to the living world, as revealed by the elder, is one of combat, a series of duels against the mightiest warriors of his lineage. As dawn breaks over the mythical realm, casting a golden hue across the sky, the first of his forebears steps forward. He is a towering figure, his armor etched with the runes of old, his eyes reflecting the battles of a time long past. Eriker, gripping his sword, feels the weight of history in his opponent's gaze. The duel begins with the clash of steel, a dance of death and honor. Eriker moves with a fluidity born of desperation, each strike and parry a testament to his skill and resolve. The spirit of his ancestor, equally adept, counters with moves that speak of ancient battles and forgotten techniques. The air rings with the sound of their combat, a melody of metal that echoes through Valhalla. With each passing moment, Eriker's mind is torn between the here and now of the fight and the haunting memory of Astrid. Her face, her voice, her touch, they fuel his every move, lending him a strength that surpasses physical bounds. The duel reaches its climax, and with a deft maneuver born of love and longing, Eriker disarms his opponent, earning a nod of respect from the ancient warrior. But the trials are far from over. One by one, his ancestors come forth, each presenting a unique challenge. There is the Shield Maiden, her skill with the blade as fierce as her indomitable spirit, reminding Eriker of Astrid's own strength. Their duel is a whirlwind of agility and grace, a battle that tests Eriker's endurance and heart. Then comes the strategist, a warrior whose cunning and guile turn the duel into a chess match of moves and counter-moves. Eriker, pushing the limits of his wit and ingenuity, adapts to the ever-changing tide of the battle, his mind as sharp as his blade. As the trials continue, Eriker faces each ancestor with a growing sense of purpose. With every duel he learns, adapts, and overcomes, his resolve hardening like steel in the forge. The specters of his forebears, each bested in turn, acknowledge his prowess and determination with solemn nods and whispered blessings. The final duel is with the chieftain, the mightiest of his ancestors, a legend whose deeds are woven into the very fabric of their lineage. The chieftain, armed with a great axe that seems to cut through the air itself, presents the ultimate test. Their battle is epic, a clash that transcends time, each blow resonating with the power of generations. Eriker, driven by a love that burns brighter than the fires of Valhalla, matches the chieftain's strength with his own unyielding will. The duel, stretching for what seems like an eternity, pushes Eriker to the brink of his limits. But in his heart, the image of Astrid, her eyes filled with love and hope, gives him the power to persevere. With a final Herculean effort, Eiríkr disarms the chieftain, the impact of their weapons' collision resounding like thunder. Panting, sweat mingling with the blood of his trials, Eiríkr stands victorious, his ancestors surrounding him in a circle of silent reverence. The elder steps forward, his eyes gleaming with pride and wonder. Eiríkr, son of the North, you have proven yourself worthy. The path back to the living world is yours to walk. May your love guide you through the shadows of death and back into the light. As Eiríkr sheathes his sword, his body weary but his spirit unbroken, he feels a surge of hope. The trials have ended, but his journey is far from over. With the blessings of his ancestors and the fire of Astrid's love in his heart, he turns towards the mystical passage that will lead him back to the mortal realm, to the woman whose love transcends the boundaries of life and death. Triumphant after the grueling trials, Eiríkr stands at the brink of the mystical threshold that separates the realms of the living and the dead. The passage, revealed to him by the ancients of Valhalla, shimmers with an ethereal light, its mere existence defying the laws of nature and the gods. As he approaches the threshold, Eiríkr feels the weight of his mortality returning, a sensation both familiar and alien after his time in the halls of Valhalla. The air around the portal crackles with energy, the boundary between worlds thinning with each step he takes. He pauses for a moment, his heart heavy with the realization of what he is leaving behind, yet buoyed by the thought of what lies ahead. Stepping through the portal, Eiríkr enters a realm of twilight, a space between spaces where time and existence blur. The passage is a winding path of light and shadows, stretching into infinity. He walks with a determination fueled by the love that has guided him through trials and tribulations, the love that now pulls him back to the world of the living. As he traverses this liminal space, memories flood his senses. The warmth of Astrid's embrace, the sound of her laughter, the way her eyes sparkled with life and love. These memories, so vivid and real, propel him forward, even as the passage tests his resolve. The journey through the mystical threshold is a trial in itself. Eiríkr faces apparitions of fears and doubts, specters of what could have been and what may yet come to pass. He battles these phantoms, his resolve unwavering, his focus singular. Every step forward is a victory against the darkness that seeks to ensnare him. As he moves deeper into the passage, the fabric of reality warps around him. Visions of his past, both joyful and painful, play out in the ether. He sees himself as a young warrior, full of ambition and vigor, and then as a husband, filled with love and devotion. Each vision serves as a reminder of the life he has lived and the reasons he fights to return. Eiríkr's journey is not just a physical trek, but a voyage through the depths of his own soul. He confronts his fears, his regrets, and his hopes. The passage demands everything of him, extracting a toll for the right to return to the living world. But Eiríkr's spirit, tempered in the fires of Valhalla, remains unbroken. Finally, after what seems like an eternity, the end of the passage comes into view. A light, bright and inviting, beckons him forward. It is the light of the living world, the realm where Astrid awaits. With a final surge of strength, Eiríkr steps out of the mystical threshold and into the world of the living. He emerges in a place both familiar and strange, the landscape of his homeland, yet altered by the passage of time. The air is heavy with the scent of pine and sea, the sounds of life vibrant and clear. Eiríkr feels the rush of life coursing through him, the beat of his heart a drum of hope and anticipation. But there's no time to savor his return. The urgency to find Astrid burns within him like a beacon. He sets out, his body weary, but his spirit alight with purpose. The journey to reunite with his beloved is fraught with uncertainty, but Eiríkr's resolve is steadfast. Armed with the love that has transcended realms and the blessings of his ancestors, he begins the final leg of his odyssey, a quest to reclaim the love that destiny had dared to sever. Back in the realm of the living, Eiríkr finds himself amidst a landscape forever altered by the ravages of war. The once familiar terrain of his homeland now bears the deep scars of conflict, charred earth, shattered homesteads, and the eerie stillness that follows the storm of battle. The air hangs heavy with the scent of smoke and the lingering echoes of screams and steel. As he moves through this desolate tableau, Eirikr's heart aches with the memories of what once was. The vibrant villages, alive with the laughter of children and the warmth of hearth fires, now lay in ruin, their joy replaced by haunting silence. The fields, once green and bountiful, are trampled and barren, a testament to the destructive appetite of war. Time, unforgiving and relentless, becomes Eirikr's greatest adversary. Each passing moment is a torment, a stretch of eternity in which Astrid remains in the clutches of her captors. The urgency to find her pulses through his veins, a constant reminder of the love that propels him forward, a love that defies the very boundaries of life and death. Eirikr's journey is fraught with danger. The land is now a treacherous maze, filled with the remnants of the enemy clan and the unpredictable perils of a world upended by war. Every shadow could conceal a threat, every sound could herald an ambush, yet Eirikr presses on, driven by a single, unwavering purpose, to reunite with Astrid. His resolve is tested at every turn. He encounters weary survivors, their eyes hollow with loss and despair. Their stories, whispered in hushed, broken tones, speak of the horrors of war, of families torn apart, and lives shattered. Eirikr offers what comfort he can, his own pain a silent companion to theirs. As he traverses this war-torn landscape, Eirikr relies not only on his warrior's skills, but also on the instincts honed during his time in Valhalla. He moves like a shadow, his steps guided by an inner compass that leads him ever closer to Astrid. His nights are restless, filled with dreams of their reunion, visions that are both a balm and a torment to his weary soul. With each sunrise, Eirikr renews his vow to find Astrid. He searches abandoned encampments, follows forgotten trails, and questions the rare passers-by, gathering pieces of a puzzle that slowly forms a map to Astrid's whereabouts. The landscape speaks to him in whispers and sighs, its secrets revealed to the heart of a lover and the soul of a warrior. In his solitary quest, Eirikr also grapples with the specters of doubt and fear. He wonders about the fate that has befallen Astrid, about the cruelty she might have endured. These thoughts are a dark tide, threatening to erode his resolve. But the fire of his love, a flame that not even death could extinguish, burns away the shadows of despair. As days blend into nights, Eirikr's journey becomes a testament to the endurance of the human spirit, to the power of love as a force that transcends all obstacles. His path is a relentless pursuit, a pilgrimage fueled by the unbreakable bond between two hearts. And so, Eirikr continues, a lone figure against the backdrop of a world scarred by war, a symbol of hope amidst despair. His journey is far from over, but his resolve is unyielding. For in his heart, he carries the undying promise of a love that will not be denied, a promise that guides him through the ruins of the world, ever closer to the woman whose spirit is the beacon in his darkest night. His quest through the war-torn lands is a relentless test of endurance and will. With each step, he battles not only the remnants of the enemy clan, lurking like vengeful ghosts in the shadows, but also the insidious grasp of exhaustion that clings to his every move. His body, though restored to the realm of the living, bears the toll of his passage through Valhalla and the mystical threshold, each moment drawing upon the reserves of his borrowed life. The days are a blur of skirmishes and narrow escapes, each confrontation a reminder of the ever-present danger that stalks his path. Eirikr moves with the stealth and cunning of a seasoned warrior, his senses attuned to the slightest hint of peril. His encounters with the enemy are swift and brutal, a dance of death under the unforgiving sun. As he navigates this hazardous journey, Eirikr's mind is continually assailed by a maelstrom of emotions. The weight of loneliness presses upon him, a heavy cloak that he cannot shed. The absence of Astrid, the other half of his soul, is a constant ache, a void that cannot be filled by the stark beauty of the landscape or the adrenaline of battle. The nights are no less challenging. Eirikr finds little respite in his restless sleep, his dreams a tumultuous realm where his deepest fears and brightest hopes collide. He sees Astrid in these dreams, her image both a salve and a torment. Sometimes she is as he remembers, her smile a beacon of hope in the dark. Other times she is a prisoner, her eyes pleading for salvation, her voice a whisper in the wind. With each dawn, Erica rises, his body weary but his spirit indomitable. The knowledge that Astrid's fate hangs in the balance fuels his determination, igniting a fire within that wards off the chill of despair. He clings to the memories of their life together, each recollection a spark that lights his way through the fog of uncertainty. Erica's journey is also a path of introspection. He reflects upon the man he was, the warrior whose life was defined by battle and honor, and the husband whose heart belonged to Astrid. These dual identities merge within him, forging a resolve that is unyielding in the face of adversity. He realizes that his quest for Astrid is not just a mission of rescue, but a pilgrimage of redemption, a chance to prove that his love is as mighty as his sword. The landscape around him changes as he travels, from the scorched earth of battlefields to the haunting beauty of mist-shrouded forests. Ericor encounters remnants of the war, scenes that tell silent tales of loss and survival. Abandoned weapons lay strewn about, makeshift graves dot the countryside, and every so often he crosses paths with other weary souls, each carrying their own burden of grief and resilience. In these moments, Ericor finds a kinship in their shared suffering, offering what aid he can while gathering tidbits of information that might lead him to Astrid. These interactions, brief as they may be, serve as reminders of the enduring spirit of humanity, of the capacity for compassion and connection even in the darkest of times. As he continues his journey, Ericor's resolve is tested time and again. His body cries out for rest, his wounds, both physical and emotional, demand attention. Yet he pushes forward, driven by a love that transcends the physical realm. He battles not only the external enemies, but also the internal demons of doubt and fear, his will a bastion against the onslaught of despair. Ericor's quest is a testament to the power of the human spirit, to the unbreakable bond forged by love and shared struggles. His journey, marked by danger and exhaustion, is also illuminated by the unwavering flame of hope, a light that guides him through the shadows of uncertainty towards the reunion he yearns for. In his heart, he carries the unshakable belief that he will find Astrid, that their love will triumph over the trials that fate has placed in their path. After a journey that has tested the very limits of his endurance and will, Ericor finally arrives at a desolate tower, its once majestic structure now a forlorn silhouette against the twilight sky. The journey to this forsaken place has been a perilous odyssey, a path fraught with danger and heartache. Yet, as he stands before the tower, his heart beats with a mix of trepidation and elation, for within these cold stone walls, he knows Astrid awaits. Scaling the crumbled walls with a mix of urgency and caution, Ericor's every sense is heightened. The air is thick with the musty scent of decay and the silent whispers of lost souls. As he ascends the winding staircase, his footsteps echo through the hollow corridors, a lonely drumbeat in this abandoned fortress. Reaching the chamber where Astrid is held, Ericor finds her gazing out of a narrow window, her silhouette ethereal in the dim light. At the sound of his approach, she turns, and their eyes meet. The moment is electric, a current that bridges the gap of their separation, rekindling a flame that had never truly diminished. Their reunion is a moment suspended in time, an instant of pure, unbridled joy shadowed by the looming specter of fate. Ericor, his face etched with the trials of his journey, steps forward, his eyes locked with Astrid's. The distance between them diminishes with each step, a gap closing after an eternity of longing. As they embrace, their connection ignites a light in the darkness, a beacon of hope in a world marred by war and sorrow. Astrid, her resilience undimmed by her captivity, clings to Ericor with a strength born of love and survival. Their arms wrap around each other, a haven in the midst of chaos, their hearts beating in unison as if trying to make up for the time lost. In this embrace, they share a silent language of love and reassurance. Ericor, feeling the warmth of Astrid's body against his, is momentarily free from the burdens he has carried. Astrid, feeling the scars and weariness in Eriker's hold, understands the price he has paid for this moment. The reunion is bittersweet, as Eriker knows that his time in the realm of the living is fleeting. The journey back to life, granted by the spirits of Valhalla, is a temporary gift, a borrowed chance to right the wrongs of fate. This knowledge hangs over them like a shroud, a reminder of the cruel passage of time. They speak in hushed tones, their voices a blend of sorrow and joy. Eriker recounts his journey, the trials in Valhalla, the battles fought, and the mystical path that led him back to her. Astrid listens, her eyes reflecting a myriad of emotions: pride, love, pain, and an unspoken fear of the inevitable. In this forsaken tower, they find solace in each other's presence, a respite from the turmoil that surrounds them. The world outside fades into insignificance as they hold each other, their love a defiant flame against the encroaching darkness of destiny. Yet even in this moment of reunion, they are aware of the challenges that lie ahead. Eriker's return to the living world is a temporary miracle, and the enemy that separated them still lurks in the shadows, a threat that must be confronted. But for now, they allow themselves this moment, a fleeting oasis in the desert of their struggles. In each other's arms, they find a strength that transcends the physical realm, a bond that has endured the trials of separation, death, and the machinations of fate. The fleeting peace of their reunion is shattered as the enemy descends upon the tower. Eriker and Astrid, now cornered within the crumbling walls, face a new onslaught. The enemy, relentless and merciless, seeks to extinguish the hope that Eriker and Astrid have rekindled in their hearts. Eriker positions himself between Astrid and their assailants, his stance that of a guardian, a sentinel of their love. His eyes blaze with a fierce determination, the resolve of a man who has traversed realms for the one he loves. He grips his sword tightly, its blade a reflection of his unwavering spirit. As the enemies close in, Eriker's warrior instincts take over. He moves with a precision and ferocity honed by years of battle and the trials of Valhalla. Each strike he delivers is a testament to his skill, a dance of death for the preservation of life. His movements are fluid yet lethal, a ballet of blades and blood. The clash of steel rings out in the confines of the tower, a symphony of survival. Eriker's foes, emboldened by numbers, attack with a savage intensity. But Eriker, fueled by love and the desperation of a man fighting for more than just his own life, meets them with equal ferocity. Each blow he lands is a defiant cry, a declaration of his unwillingness to yield. Astrid, though unarmed, is far from helpless. Her presence, her courage, lends Eriker strength. She aids him as best she can, her wits and resolve as sharp as any blade. Together, they are a formidable duo, their bond a shield against the onslaught. The battle is grueling, a relentless test of endurance and will. Eriker fights not just with the strength of his arms, but with the power of his heart. Each enemy he fells is a step closer to safeguarding Astrid, to preserving the future they dream of. His roars are not just of effort, but of passion, a warrior's chant that resonates through the stone halls. In this dire moment, Eriker's thoughts flash to the moments he and Astrid have shared, the gentle mornings in their homestead, the quiet evenings under the stars, the promises whispered in the cloak of night. These memories are a balm to his weary soul, a reminder of what he fights for. But the enemy is relentless, their numbers a tide that threatens to overwhelm him. Eriker feels the sting of their blades, the weariness in his bones, yet he does not falter. Each wound he suffers is a testament to his sacrifice, a price he willingly pays. As the battle rages, the tower becomes a crucible of chaos and valor. The walls, scarred by the clash of steel, bear witness to Eriker's bravery. He moves like a storm, his actions a whirlwind of desperation and love. Despite the odds, Eriker's spirit remains unbroken. His love for Astrid is a flame that burns brighter with each passing moment, a fire that not even death can quench. He fights not just for survival, but for a future that he has dared to reach for, a future with Astrid by his side. In this final stand, Eriker transcends the bounds of mortality. his deeds echoing the tales of heroes and legends. His fight is a saga of love and sacrifice, a story that will be whispered through the ages. In the heart of that forsaken tower, Eiríkr, the Heartbound warrior, becomes a symbol of the enduring power of love, a beacon for all who dare to dream in the face of insurmountable darkness. In the waning moments of the battle, with the setting sun casting long shadows across the room, Eirikkr's strength begins to falter. The strain of his journey, from the trials in Valhalla to the arduous path back to the living world, and now this final, desperate stand, has taken its toll. His sword feels heavier in his hands, each swing slower, as exhaustion seeps into his bones. Around him, the remnants of the enemy lay scattered, a testament to his valiant effort. But even as victory seems within grasp, Eiríkr feels the grip of mortality tightening. Wounds, both old and new, bleed freely, painting his armor and the floor beneath him in stark shades of crimson. Astrid, her face etched with concern and fear, rushes to his side. Her hands, gentle yet urgent, work to stem the flow of blood, but the tide is relentless. Eiríkr looks up at her, his vision blurring, and in her eyes, he sees the reflection of their life together, a tapestry woven with threads of joy, sorrow, and unyielding love. With what strength he has left, Eiríkr reaches up to touch Astrid's face, tracing the familiar features with a trembling hand. "My love," he whispers, his voice a hoarse rasp. "Do not weep for me. Our time together, it was worth every moment, every battle, every breath." Astrid's tears fall freely, each one a sparkling testament to the depth of their bond. "Eiríkr, stay with me," she pleads, her voice breaking. "You fought so hard to come back. You can't leave me now." But Eiríkr's time is slipping away like sand through fingers. He smiles, a small, contented curve of his lips, as a sense of peace washes over him. In this final moment, he is not afraid. He has faced death before, but this time it is different. This time he is surrounded by the essence of his life, by the love that has defined his existence. "I will always be with you, Astrid," Eiríkr murmurs, his gaze locked with hers. "In the wind that rustles through the trees, in the stars that light the night sky, in the quiet moments when you feel alone, I will be there." Eiríkr's breath grows shallow, each inhale a labored effort. The sounds of the world fade to a distant hum, the tower, the battle, the pain, all receding into the background. What remains is the warmth of Astrid's hand in his, the softness of her voice, the love that envelops him, comforting and profound. As his life ebbs away, Eiríkr's thoughts drift to the moments that have colored his life. The thrill of battle, the serenity of home, the laughter and tears shared with Astrid. These memories are bright flames in the gathering darkness, a legacy of a life lived with passion and purpose. With one final effort, Eiríkr squeezes Astrid's hand, a silent message of goodbye and a promise of eternal love. His eyes, once bright with the fire of life, gently close, and with a final contented exhale, he slips away, his spirit departing on a journey to realms unknown. Astrid cradles Eiríkr's head in her lap, her sobs a mournful lullaby in the quiet tower. The sun dips below the horizon, its fading light a fitting tribute to the warrior who fought with the strength of 100 men and the heart of a true lover. In the days to come, Astrid will carry the memory of Eiríkr, a treasure locked within her heart. His love remains with her, a timeless testament to his courage, devotion, and the unbreakable bond they shared. Eiríkr's legacy lives on, not just in tales of his valor, but in the quiet strength and enduring love that he and Astrid embodied, a love that transcends time, death, and the fates that conspire to separate souls.